Hello, dear audience. Today we will embark on a magical journey to Italy, the heart of Europe, where art, history, and lifestyle blend together in the concept of La Dolce Vita, the sweet life. Located in the heart of the Mediterranean, Italy is the homeland of the mighty Roman Empire, the cradle of the Renaissance, and an endless source of inspiration with 58 UNESCO heritage sites, the most in the world. With a population of approximately 58.8 million in 2025, an area of 301,340 square kilometers, and a nominal GDP of $2.3 trillion in 2024, Italy is the 8th largest economy in the world. From the cobbled streets of Rome with the majestic Colosseum, to the sparkling canals of Venice, from the dazzling Amalfi Coast to the vineyards of Tuscany, Italy is a living picture of nature, culture, and cuisine. This journey will take us through 10 in-depth explorations, from ancient history to modern fashion, from Neapolitan pizza to Chianti wine. If you're excited about this topic, subscribe now for more great content, and don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts on Italy. Get ready to let Italy conquer your heart. Italy is a boot-shaped peninsula in southern Europe, bordered by France, Switzerland, Austria, Slovenia to the north, and surrounded by the Adriatic, Ionian, Tyrrhenian, and Ligurian seas. With a coastline of 7,600 kilometers, Italy has two large islands, Sicily and Sardinia, and hundreds of smaller ones such as Capri and Elba. The terrain is diverse, the majestic Alps in the north with Mont Blanc, 4,810 m, the fertile Po River Delta, and the Apennines run like a spine along the peninsula. Volcanoes such as Etna, Sicily, and Vesuvius, near Naples, are still active, creating a unique but potentially dangerous landscape. Italy's climate is varied, Mediterranean in the south and coastal areas with hot summers, 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, mild winters, 5 to 15 degrees Celsius, continental in the north with cold winters, -5 degrees Celsius in the Alps, and warm summers. Average rainfall is 500 to 2,000 mm/year, with the highest in Liguria. With over 3,000 hours of sunshine/year in Sicily, Italy is a year-round destination, from skiing in the Dolomites to swimming in Puglia. However, climate change is making Italy vulnerable to flooding in Venice and drought in the south, requiring sustainable environmental strategies. Italy's history dates back to prehistory with the Paleolithic cultures of the Altamira-like caves of Puglia and Sicily, where cave paintings from 40,000 years ago attest to the presence of modern humans. By the 8th century BC, the Etruscans dominated the center with an advanced society, renowned for their elaborately decorated stone tombs at Cerveteri and their black-glazed pottery, which greatly influenced later Rome. In 753 BC, according to legend, the brothers Romulus and Remus founded Rome on 7 hills, marking the beginning of the Roman Empire, one of the greatest empires in history, extending from Britain to Egypt through conquests under Julius Caesar, 44 BC, and Augustus, 27 BC AD 14. The empire built 80,000 kilometers of roads, aqueducts such as that in Segovia, and iconic structures such as the Colosseum, completed in 80 AD under Emperor Titus, where gladiatorial games attracted 80,000 spectators. After the fall of Western Rome in 476 AD to barbarian invasions, Italy fell into a period of fragmentation, with the Ostrogoths under Theodoric dominating, followed by the Byzantines and Lombards from the 6th century. The 11th century saw the rise of independent city-states. Venice became a trading power with a powerful fleet controlling the Silk Road, Genoa competed over the sea routes to the Levant, and Florence developed banking under the Medici family. The Renaissance, 14th to 16th centuries, was a creative high point, beginning in Florence with Dante Alighieri writing the Divine Comedy in 1320. A literary masterpiece depicting the journey to hell, and continuing with Michelangelo painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in 1512, Leonardo da Vinci creating the Mona Lisa in 1503 to 1506 with its hazy sfumato technique, and Raphael completing the School of Athens in 1511 expressing classical philosophy. Meanwhile, the Vatican under Pope Julius II, 1503 to 1513, patronized the arts, making Rome the center of religion and culture. Italy's ancient and medieval history was not only a series of events, but also the foundation for the development of Western law, art, and science. A legacy that lives on through museums such as the Vatican Museums, which hold more than 70,000 works. Italian women, who make up around 51% of the population and are expected to number over 30 million by 2025, have been silent and prominent pillars of national identity through their resilience, talent, and diverse social roles, from ancient times to the present. During Roman times, women such as Livia Drusilla, 58 BC AD 29, wife of Emperor Augustus, not only managed the harem empire but also influenced foreign policy, were honored with statues in Rome and given special powers as Augusta. During the Renaissance, Isabella d'Este, 1474 to 1539, Marchioness of Mantua, was a leading patron of the arts, commissioning works from Leonardo da Vinci and Titian and building the largest art collection in Europe at the time, turning her palace into a cultural center. During World War II, Italian women played a key role in the Partigiani resistance movement. Carla Capone, 1918 to 2000, a gold medal-winning heroine, participated in the bombing of the German headquarters in Rome in 1944, helping to liberate Italy from the Nazis. Today, women lead politics and business. Giorgia Meloni, Prime Minister since 2022, is Italy's first female leader, focusing on economic reform and migration policy, despite facing controversy over her conservative views. In the arts, Sophia Loren, born in 1934, a film icon, won the first non-English-speaking actress Oscar for Two Women in 1960, which told the story of war victims, while Miuccia Prada, born in 1949, revolutionized fashion with her Prada brand, incorporating contemporary art into design and expanding a multi-billion-dollar global empire. Women also contributed to science and society. Rita Levi-Montalcini, 1909 to 2012, a neuroscientist who won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1986, discovered nerve growth factor, paving the way for cancer treatment. But Italian women still face challenges. The gender pay gap will be 12% lower than men by 2024. Domestic violence will affect 31% of women in 2023. And women will only be on board of directors at 40% despite making up 55% of university students. In Sicily, women are leading anti-mafia agricultural cooperatives that produce internationally awarded organic olive oil, while in Milan, young female entrepreneurs will account for 28% of tech startups by 2025. The EU's gender equality strategy is supporting, through training and victim protection programs, Italian women to continue to be the engines of innovation, from preserving family traditions to leading a sustainable future. With an estimated population of 59 million in 2025, Italy has an average population density of 195 people per km superscript 2, but it is unevenly distributed. The industrialized north, such as Lombardy and Veneto, is densely populated with over 400 people per km superscript 2, while the south, such as Calabria, is sparsely populated with under 100 people per km superscript 2. Ethnic Italians make up 92% of the population, with minorities including Germans in Alto Adige, the official German-speaking region, Slovenians in Friuli, and immigrants from Albania, Romania, and Morocco making up 8.7% of the population, providing cultural diversity in the major cities. Italian is the official language, a Romance language with Latin roots, but more than 30 local dialects such as Sicilian, with Greek and Arabic influences, or Venetian are spoken on a daily basis, while English is popular in tourist centers such as Florence and Milan. Italian culture is a delicate blend of ancient traditions and vibrant modernity. Venice's Carnival attracts 3 million visitors each year with its elaborate masks and gondola parades. Celebrated since the 13th century, the Palio di Siena, a medieval horse race held twice a year in the Piazza del Campo, represents the spirit of local competition with 17 participating districts. Roman Catholicism has a profound influence on 74% of the population. reflected in religious festivals such as Christmas in the Vatican with its giant Christmas tree and Easter in Rome with its candlelit processions. Italy leads the way in global pop culture, cinema through Federico Fellini's masterpiece La Dolce Vita, 1960, criticizing modern society, opera with Luciano Pavarotti singing arias from Puccini's Turandot, and fashion with Milan Week where designers such as Dolce and Gabbana show collections inspired by Sicily. Football is a national passion, with the Azzurri winning Euro 2020 and clubs such as Juventus and AC Milan dominating Serie A, attracting millions of fans with their lively derbies. Coffee culture, with quick espressos at the local bar, and the slow pace of life in the Tuscan countryside, where people take time for family meals with homemade wine, define the Italian way of life. Regional diversity, from white truffle cuisine in Piedmont to the Scapio del Caro Fire Festival in Florence, creates a rich cultural mosaic. But the big challenge is to reconcile the wealthy North with the less developed South, promoting national cultural programs to preserve heritage. Italy is the world's 8th largest economy, with a nominal GDP expected to reach $2.46 trillion in 2025 and a GDP by purchasing power parity of $3.69 trillion, growing modestly by 0.6 to 0.7% according to etched and the EU Commission forecasts, mainly driven by exports and recovery from the pandemic. Tourism is a key pillar, contributing 13% of GDP with over 10.6 million visitors in April 2025 alone, up 13.14% year-on-year. Expected to reach a record 27 million visitors in the summer thanks to events such as the Venice Biennale and the Jubilee in Rome, generating 124.6 billion euros in domestic tourism revenue. Industry thrives in the north, car manufacturing with iconic brands such as Ferrari, 13,000 cars sold a year, and Lamborghini, precision machinery accounting for 15% of exports, and pharmaceuticals with companies such as Menarini leading Europe in research. Fashion and design is a leading creative industry, generating 100 billion euros a year through fashion weeks in Milan and Rome, with Gucci and Versace exporting to Asia and the US. Agriculture, although only 2% of GDP, is a world leader in quality. 4.8 million tons of grapes are produced a year for wines such as Prosecco, 600 million bottles exported, 500,000 tons of olive oil from Puglia and Tuscany, and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese with a strict artisanal process. Overall exports will reach $626 billion in 2023, mainly to Germany, 12%, France, 10%, and the US, 9%, with a focus on machinery, food, and chemicals. However, high public debt at 140% of GDP in 2024, stable inflation of 2.8%, and the economic gap between the North, GDP per capita of 40,000 euros, and the South, 20,000 euros, are major challenges, leading to internal migration. The government under Prime Minister Meloni is investing 191 billion euros of the EU Recovery Fund in green energy, raising the share of renewables to 40% by 2025, and digitalization, with projects such as the Milan-Venice high-speed rail to connect the regions. Italy is transforming into a European tech hub with a focus on AI and semiconductors according to the Technology Index 2025. But needs to diversify to reduce its dependence on tourism and exports, especially in a volatile global trade environment. Italy is a biodiversity haven, with 24 national parks covering 5% of its territory and 7,900 square kilometers of marine protected areas, ranking it among the top in Europe for species. The Northern Alps are home to more than 200 species of mammals, including brown bears, around 50 in Trentino, gray wolves, 1,500, and lynx, along with a rich alpine flora including edelweiss and rhododendrons that bloom in summer. The Gran Paradiso National Park, established in 1922, protects ibex and golden eagles with a 500 kilometers network of trekking trails. The Central Apennines support oak and pine forests that cover 35% of the country, providing refuge for wild boar and roe deer. while the Padelta wetlands are a stopover for millions of migratory birds each year. The Adriatic and Tyrrhenian seas are rich with bottlenose dolphins, thousands. The caretta sea turtle lays eggs in Calabria, and rare coral reefs in the Cinque Terre National Marine Park. Sicily is home to UNESCO-listed Mount Etna, where lava forms fertile basalt soil for lemon and pistachio orchards, while Sardinia has Neptune's Grotto with its underwater limestone system. Italy leads the EU in plant diversity with 6,700 species, from wild orchids in the Dolomites to ancient olive trees in Puglia that are thousands of years old. However, climate change poses serious threats. Venice faces record flooding in 2024 despite the Mose Dam system reducing the risk by 80%. Drought in Sicily has reduced the 2023 harvest by 30%, and wildfires have increased by 20% in the south due to high temperatures. The government has committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2050 through its national plan, increasing the share of renewable energy to 40% by 2025 with offshore wind farms in the Adriatic and preserving national forests. Italy's nature, from the serene and crystal-clear waters of Lake Como to the Amalfi Cliffs with their terraced gardens, is not only a source of inspiration but also a precious resource that must be protected to maintain a balanced ecosystem. Traveling to Italy is a long journey through countless wonders, with more than 64.5 million visitors in 2024 and expected to break the record in 2025 thanks to Rome's Jubilee attracting 30 million pilgrims. The capital Rome, the Eternal City, is an ideal starting point with the Colosseum, 7 million visitors/year, where gladiatorial history is reenacted, the Pantheon with the world's largest concrete dome since 126 AD, and the Vatican with its museum holding 70,000 works of art. Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance, captivates with the Duomo, a 114-m high Gothic structure completed in 1436, and the Uffizi Gallery displaying Botticelli's Birth of Venus and thousands of paintings. Venice, a city floating on 118 islands, offers a unique experience with the Rialto Bridge over the Grand Canal and St. Mark's Square, where doves soar among Byzantine architecture. The Amalfi Coast in Campania, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, features cliff-hugging towns like Positano and an 8 km path of the Gods Trail offering panoramic views of the Tyrrhenian Sea. The Cinque Terre in Liguria is made up of 5 colorful villages like Riomaggiore and Manarola, linked by a coastal railway and hiking trails, making it ideal for ecotourism. Lake Como in Lombardy is a holiday paradise with historic villas like Villa del Balbianello, where Star Wars was filmed, and boat cruises on turquoise waters. Sicily is diverse, with the ancient Greek temple of Agrigento, the largest outside Greece, and Mount Etna, where visitors can hike or take a cable car to see the crater. Milan, the fashion capital, boasts the Duomo Cathedral with its 135 spires and the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, a glass-roofed shopping center. Sustainable tourism is booming, with cycling tours through the Tuscan countryside, trekking in the Dolomites with 2,500 kilometers of trails, and rural experiences at agriturismos. Farm stays, despite prices rising 5% by 2025 due to inflation. Italy offers authentic experiences with fewer crowds than Paris or London, from cave exploration in Puglia to scuba diving in Sardinia. Italian cuisine is a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage, with regional variations and more than 2,000 traditional dishes. Pizza Margherita from Naples, created in 1889 to honor Queen Margherita in the colors of the Italian flag, green basil, white mozzarella, red tomato, is now baked in wood-fired ovens in more than 50,000 pizzerias nationwide. Pasta carbonara from Rome with eggs, pecorino cheese and guanciale, smoked pork cheek, or risotto alla Milanese from Lombardy with golden saffron, represents northern sophistication. Desserts include tiramisu from Veneto with coffee-infused ladyfingers and creamy mascarpone, or Italian gelato in more than 100 flavors from Sicilian pistachio to stracciatella. Wine is the pride. Chianti from Tuscany with strong tannins from Sangiovese's grapes, Prosecco from Veneto with gentle bubbles, 600 million bottles exported/year, and Barolo from Piedmont, known as the Wine of Kings. Olive oil from Puglia and Tuscany, produced 500,000 tons a year with a DOP certification to protect its quality, is the base ingredient for caprese salad. The Italian way of life is characterized by a relaxed rhythm. Mornings start with a quick espresso at the local bar for just €1, followed by a 2-hour family lunch of antipasto, appetizers such as prosciutto, primo, pasta, secondo, grilled meat, and dolce, dessert. The passeggiata, an evening stroll through a piazza, is a social ritual in every city from Rome to Palermo, where people chat and enjoy gelato. Football dominates entertainment, with Serie A attracting 25 million viewers a year on television, while opera at La Scala Milan is a high-end symbol. Education standards are high with a 99% literacy rate and 93% of the population completing secondary school, but youth migration, 15% of under 30s will leave by 2023 for work, is a social issue. Italy is slow-paced in the countryside with vendemmia grape harvest festivals, but fast-paced in Milan with flexible working hours and a 20% increase in remote working culture post-pandemic. Overall, Italian cuisine and lifestyle teach us to cherish the moment, from family meals to enjoying a coffee by the window overlooking the sea. Over 10 parts, we have explored Italy, from the Roman Empire to Milanese fashion, from the Amalfi Coast to Tuscan wine. In 2025, Italy continues to shine with a GDP growth of 1.2%, sustainable tourism, and a green transition, despite the challenges of public debt and climate change. The Italian spirit of La Dolce Vita, living in the moment, inspires the world. If you are already hooked, subscribe to the channel to discover new journeys, and leave a comment sharing your favorite places in Italy. Thank you for joining us. Get on the road and let Italy conquer your heart.